الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبدك الكتاب واحلم له الواجع أحمده سبحانه وتعالى وأشكره وهو أهل الحمد والثناء وأشهد أن لا إله إلا هو وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ومصطفى اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. Alhamdulillah bil alamin. We thank Allah Almighty always for every opportunity. Alhamdulillah, we always want to be grateful to Allah Almighty for the presence of anyone and everyone. Everyone is uniquely gifted, and when we start to respect the uniqueness of a person, and by respecting them, regardless of what their grafted mentality or their ego is doing, Allah Almighty will allow His uniqueness to come out, and you begin to see Allah Almighty in every individual. That's why the prophets, may Allah be pleased with them, wisdom is not looking at people's shortcomings or faults, because everyone has shortcomings and faults, and we're all sinners. But Shaitan is the one that has us looking at shapes and forms, and therefore all we see is shapes and forms. But Allah Almighty trains us to be able to look with the eyes of our spiritual being, to see if we can see the goodness in ourselves, we can see the goodness in someone else. And that is the rope that connects us to divine presence. Allah Almighty has set up such a scenario now. Everyone is looking to the society from east to west, north to south. People are in despair. People are in worry. People are in fear. People are in disgust. People are busted, disgusted, and they can't be trusted from east to west, north to south, because there is an illusion that there is a lack in the society, and it is something that is from the top all the way trickling down to the bottom. Allah Almighty has always been able to get our attention. When our direction is in a way that is not of Allah Almighty, Allah Almighty allows that to punish us. See, the only fear that Allah Almighty wants us to have is fear of Himself. Anything else we fear in terms of our livelihood or in terms of whatever in this life, it becomes a means in which we worry. Because Allah Almighty said, "O dunya, be a servant to my servants." And if they're not going to be a servant to me, then make them to worry. And so Shaitan, what he does is he threatens us with poverty. He threatens us with debt. He threatens us with illness. He threatens us with everything that causes us to be depressed, thinking that he is going to rob us of paradise. We are paradise people. We come from paradise and eventually return to paradise. Allah says, "From me you come and to me you will return." So this is a test. This is an illusion of illusions, and this is shadows of deception. And that's why Allah Almighty has always had to send His prophets to be among people once Shaitan had threatened them with lack and doubt and unbelief and hypocrisy. That's saying that, you know what? I just don't believe in Allah. Where is Allah? Ain't nobody never seen Allah. Ain't nobody never died and come back. But yet we don't question Shaitan. Shaitan rules us, he controls us, he abuses us, and we get all these subliminal thinking through our mind. They have actually taken prayer out of the schools, where the people pledge allegiance to a flag and not to Allah Almighty. We pledge allegiance to our jobs, but not Allah Almighty. We pledge allegiance to our material things, but not to Allah Almighty. When these things cannot give us nothing. And that's why there is a depression among the people. You go out among the people and they're just crazy. And they think, I got to have something, so I'm going to take somebody else's stuff. Thinking that that's going to give them an illusion of happiness. What happens when that's gone? You got to continue to do that. This Shaitan sets us up and set us out. Put us in situations where now we're regretting, how did this ever happen? Because we did not fear Allah Almighty. Allah Almighty says, those who fear me, there is no grief on them, nor shall they fear. I will give them of their sustenance. I provided them. Allah provides everybody. Everybody comes here with their sustenance. There's nobody that comes here without an ability to reach one's Creator, which is our treasure, which is a hidden secret. So now, because we have lost contact with our secret, we're looking now outside of ourselves, and we see a lack because we don't have access to that everybody's saying is the greatest. We have forgotten that we have set and made a promise to Allah Almighty before coming here. You think this is our first time here. We are spiritual beings having a human experience as opposed to human beings having a spiritual experience. That's what death is about. That's what life is about. When we're in the womb of our mother, that soul is put in us. We call it life. When it's taken out of our bodies, it's called death. But it's a mystery. This life is a mystery. We have to stop and think about, wow, there was a time when some of the worst things that ever happened to us. Now we're not suffering those things. There were some times when we had pain. We don't have that pain. But we don't think about the pain once we don't have the pain. And so when that difficulties and pain come on us, the first thing we do is programmed in our being. We say, oh my God, help me. That's just not an expression. Why don't you say, oh my knee, help me. Oh my boss, help me. Oh my wife, help me. Don't nobody scream out to no being like that other than Allah Almighty. Look at the story of Joseph alayhi salam. The Jews knew about Joseph in the Torah. The Christians knew about Joseph in the Bible, the Injil, the Gospel. The Muslims know about Joseph in the Quran. What is that significance? And how does that relate to us as a people? He went to his father and said, I had a dream that the sun and the moon and the stars bow down to me. His father said, don't interpret that dream to your brothers because already they are envious of you. Here's someone that Allah Almighty was raising in the midst of a people, knowing that there will come a time when Shaitan will treat them and there will be an illusion of lack. And that Shaitan will be threatening them with poverty. And because of the shadows and deceptions of this world, they would have forgotten about their Lord and forgotten about their Lord in themselves. So Allah Almighty always hides His servants. You always find treasures in ruins. So along with people are doubting and the lack, Allah always is sending the wealth and the treasure. Verily, with every difficulty there is relief.